Alright guys, welcome back to another Giant Hot Takes podcast, your home for the hottest takes about the San Francisco Giants. I'm your host Jack, joined by my co-host Jake. We're going to challenge all of the people watching this video to go down. Please make sure you subscribe and send it to 5 friends and make sure they subscribe. We're on a road to 100 subscribers. We'll be doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers, so it's a big deal for us to reach that milestone. We'd appreciate you guys helping us get there, so send it to just a baseball fan, Giant fan. It's free to subscribe. It probably takes 10 seconds out of your day, but it means a lot to us, so please make sure you do that. Today, we'll be reviewing really rough 3-4 homestand from the Giants. They got themselves right back in the playoff picture. Kind of took it all away with this homestand, so we'll try to keep it positive. It's not going to go too well at times. We apologize. Make sure to like and subscribe to both YouTube and Spotify and follow us on Twitter. And please make sure to share this podcast to a couple buddies. Just off the top of your head, without getting into any details, how'd you feel about that homestand? I'm for sure pretty disappointed.
Yeah, the offense wasn't going too well. Some pitching mistakes between Harrison Birdsong and Ray that definitely could have been a major shifting point for this offense if they pitched much better. But it's kind of hard to say because it can't just be Webb dominating the mound every time and the offense shows up slightly and we get a sneak out win. It's got to be more on the offense at this point in the year, especially against an offensive team like the Braves. So, yeah, you just kind of got to move forward a little bit better on the offensive side of things, limit the strikeouts again. And, yeah, overall pretty disappointing stand.
Yeah, there wasn't really many positives to take away. We'll get into game by game, starting with the Tigers. We start this series off. We're one game above 500, battled back to get there after Washington. Robbie Ray takes the bump. He goes 6 innings, throws 105 pitches, which is a pretty big deal coming off Tommy John. 2 earned, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks. Mark Canha walks it off, 3-2 win. Got no hit through like 5 or 6 or 7. I don't even know. What do you see here? Obviously, can't really complain with a win.
Yeah, pretty weak offense early on. Kenta Maeda, middle relief pitcher, went 4.2 innings. Got to him later. That's all it took. But you got to dominate this pitching earlier, especially in a bullpen game like this. Ray had a great job out there. First game, not allowing a home run. We'll get into his next start after that. Did do some stuff in that game. Again, got to limit the walks and meaningless pitches for him. Besides that, great start. Was enough to do the job. Great job from the bullpen yet again. It was just the offense. Strikeouts were low that game, only 7. That's kind of a lot, but not for this offense right now. So we'll take that win. Fought back, battled. Overall, kind of iffy game, but a win's a win.
Yeah, Mark Canha walks it off. Mark's been fantastic since throwing on that Giants uniform. Positive. We get to 2 games above. We're battling now. We're 2.5 back of a playoff spot. We have Webb in game 2. Hard to say enough about Webb. He goes 7 innings, 1 earned, 8 strikeouts, 110 pitches, leading the league in innings pitched. Offense looks abysmal again. What did you see here? Big Brett Wisely hit. Besides that, what do you take away from this game?
Conforto had about half the strikeouts himself. Nice sombrero from him, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Continue to hit him in the 3 and 4 hole for the rest of the stretch. Don't understand Melvin there. But, the bottom of the lineup showed up to play. Really won us that game. Ramos and Fitzgerald have always been the best of the best in this lineup. But the bottom of the lineup really showed up, and that's kind of what stood out to sneak this win 3-1.
Yeah, no, Ramos and Fitz are just 2 guys that I don't think many Giants fans saw at the beginning of the year being the studs, the guys that are carrying this team, which is very positive for them, but also kind of disappointing that guys like Michael Conforto, who are making $18 million, are putting up games like this, golden sombreros, and that's not his first one of the year, and that's not going to be his last either. So, I'm open to taking Michael Conforto to a civil suit because he's just scamming the shit out of us.
Yeah.
He's just awful up there. We're not even into the worst of Michael Conforto this homestand either. So we roll into game 3, looking for a sweep, and, we've touched on it before. I don't know what happened at the start of the year, if, it was a big touching point with Melvin that we just don't sweep around here. We don't want to do chores. We don't want to get the brooms. So the brooms are locked in the dungeon somewhere, maybe in Oakland, but these brooms can't sweep anything besides the Rockies, which is pretty shocking. And so we have Birdsong on the bump, and Birdsong just continues his struggles, gives up a leadoff bomb, which was just already deflating to start that game like that. Offense eventually battles back. We score 2 in the bottom of the first. Can't really shut them down with Birdsong. What'd you see here? Where would you go with Birdsong?
Birdsong, I mean, he's a young guy. He's still got a lot to learn. Probably should have a little bit more time down in the minors, especially when we have all our pitching back. His past couple starts have been awful, and he's got one more tomorrow, but we'll really have to see how this next one goes. And if it doesn't go according to Melvin's plan, then I definitely think that he should spend some time down in the minors and really revisit some of the things that he hasn't been working too well on. But besides that, bullpen pitched a pretty good game. Offense struggled. I mean, a little bit. Put up 4. Should be able to win a ball game, but it was kind of done by... It was really limited sample size of who was really putting in the work. I mean, Chapman and Fitzgerald. Who else would it be? Both of them with 3 hits. Chap with 3 RBIs. I mean, it's just got to be... It's more than a 2-man effort to win a ball game. 4 runs, yet again, should probably win you most ball games if everything's done right. But, I mean, pitching side of things, Birdsong really did lose us that game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, offense, that was one of the better offensive games of the entire homestand. Probably the best besides the last game against the Braves. We only struck out 3 times. Is that a typo? We only struck out 3 times. That's shocking.
That's real
good. You already shouted out Chapman. Runners in scoring position continues to just be a struggle. We were 3 for 14 this game. Chapman was 2 for 2. So, I mean, we're essentially there 1 for 11 again without Chapman. And he's not even the best in that category. So, essentially, pretty good start to that homestand. 2-1. Always going to take series wins against the Tigers. Get back to 1.5 out of a playoff spot. Pretty big stuff. Closest we've been to a playoff spot all year, it feels like. We've been in it a couple times early May. And so, huge series against the Braves. They're that team are 1.5 back from massive. Can't overstate it enough. I mean, we've been overstating it. It clearly meant more.
World Series in August.
It clearly meant more to us than the team. So we got Snell on the bump game 1. Hard to not be confident. Snell goes 6.1, 2 hits, 11 strikeouts. We lose the game 1-0 in the 10th. I mean, do you even want to get into how this game was lost?
It was a pitcher's duel if I've ever seen one. Every single pitcher that went in this game had at least 1 strikeout. Both teams had over 15 strikeouts. Braves with 16, Giants with 17. That is just absurd from both offenses. I mean, I could have said this in the 7th inning when it was 0-0 that it's going to go into the 10th. Braves are going to put one up on the board because that runner, and the Giants are going to go home sorry because they can't score with runners in scoring position. And I spoke it into existence like every other time I've ever said it. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Didn't even score on the hit. So, I mean, just awful from the offense. Blake Snell, I mean, he's doing like charity work at this point. He's not getting anything out of this. So, I mean, yeah, an awful game to an awful series.
No, yeah, it's embarrassing. I forgot to touch on how we lost that Tigers game. So I think it was the 8th. It was the 8th. Chapman lead off triple. They don't score. Lose 5-4. This game we get the ghost runner on second. Yaz strikes out. Luciano actually hits, strikes out. Patrick Bailey lines out to left. It was a flare that somehow Jorge Soler caught in left field sliding. So
best jump he's ever going to get.
Classic right there. Giants lose there. It's not the end of our runners in scoring position struggles. We lose back-to-back backbreakers. Still got 3 games left against the Braves. Can still make some meaningful ground. Roll into game 2. Kyle Harrison start. Kyle gets touched up a little bit. Offense looks pretty good early. I'm not going to say pretty good. They hit the ball out of the yard, which was nice. And by them, Fitz did. They battle, lose 4-3 in the 10th. Before getting into the 10th inning shit show shenanigans, the circus is back. What'd you see in the first 9 innings from this team?
You know, it's really nothing special. Kyle Harrison lets up 3 on 2 bombs. That kind of settles the deal for us because when we go down early, we don't like to come back unless it's in like the 8th inning and we're down 1 and some magic pixie dust hits us like it always does. But this time, it just really didn't. I mean, 10th inning. 10th innings are, that's our allergies right there. I mean, we cannot get it done then. It's never when we got a runner in scoring position when we make it happen. Something's got to change. Well-fought game on the pitching side of things. Harrison, iffy start, bullpen, great performances, but you know, you really got to battle that back in the 10th and at least tie it up and have it keep going into the 11th.
Yeah, I will say it was a rough start from Harrison, but I think his stuff looked a little better that game. I don't know about you. Fastball had some more life. He was up to 94, so that's more Harrison stuff. Touching on just the struggles, I mean, you can go to one inning in particular at any point in the game, but, I mean, it's just miserable, man. So it's not even the 10th inning. Usually this team fails to score early. What game did we have first and third in the first and we lost? That was the first Braves game. We had first and third with 0 outs. We didn't score there. Lost 1-0. So we score once, we win that game. Similar thing here. We're down 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Wade hits a double to left. Ramos reaches on an error by Riley. First and second, 0 outs, down 1. Fucking Michael Conforto grounds into a double play. Wade scores on a wild pitch, which is just lucky. He played horrible. Before we overreact to anything else, why does Michael Conforto have a green light in the bottom of the 8th in a playoff game with runners at first and second with Matt Chapman on deck?
Sitting 232 after this game. I mean, the dude can't hit the ball. He's coming off an awful road trip, or awful game, not road trip, but awful game series against Detroit. I mean, Melvin, you gotta initiate the situation here and make sure he lays that bunt down. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. I mean, rolling into a double play is the absolute worst thing you can do in that situation. And of course, you got Riley playing 30 feet off the line, and you still yank one over on the right side of the infield. Like, just lay one down one time.
Horrible swing, like 80 exit velocity. I mean, at least he didn't strike out, I guess. But you have to execute there because Matt Chapman is, in my opinion, a top 5 player in baseball right now. You have him on deck, so at worst, 1 out, second and third. Chapman walks. Yaz grounds out to first. They blow another opportunity. Then we get into the 10th. And, yeah, I'll give it to the Braves. They play good, sound team baseball. They score a run on an infield single. Giants come up in the bottom of the 10th again, and we tried to bunt. Fitz tried to bunt. Fitz lays down one of the worst bunts I've ever seen, lands on home plate. Schmidt gets a horrible read, gets thrown out at third, eventually got called back for interference on Fitz, who was out. Wade flies out to center, Ramos flies out to left. They don't advance the runner to even third base for the second straight night. Lose 4-3, so what do you have to say to Melvin, or what would you do in this situation? Because this is just back-breaking. They should have won all 3 of these games.
How to hit the ball the other way, or hit the ball to the right side when you have a runner on second base. I mean, they play so far off the line and shift every time. I mean, the next game in the series, we'll get into that more, but everything was to Matt Olson at first base, and the shift was on. I mean, you've got to hit the ball the other way. They're feeding it to you outside, and you still just reach out for it every time. Sit on it. I mean, they were throwing a lot of curveballs. Hit the curveball the other way. It's the easiest pitch to do it. I don't understand why they just get so antsy and just have to swing right away at that and either completely miss it in the dirt or roll it over to the first base every single time.
Yeah, so I don't think this team does any sort of situational hitting and BP or anything like that. So this team, break it down for you guys, this team is built like the New York Yankees. They're built like they have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, guys that can hit 40 home runs. And, that's a cool approach when you have guys that can hit 40 home runs. We don't have a guy in 20 yet, so you can't build a team around guys like Michael Conforto swinging out of their ass, trying to hit home runs, who has 12 home runs. Yaz has 9. I mean, these guys are all power hitters if you ask them, but if you ask pitchers, they're bad power hitters and they can't make contact, so you get a flawed roster like this. So it's time to drop the bullshit. We need to actually build a baseball team or go get guys that can hit home runs like Vlad. So I don't really know where to go from here. We roll into game 3. We're still 3.5 back. And so we can still, a split here wouldn't be bad. Me and Jake, my dad got some awesome tickets. Shout out my dad, right behind home plate. Went with my dad, Jake, and his dad. Very fired up. I mean, I wasn't too pumped to go to the game just because of the way we were playing, but obviously pretty optimistic going to that game. Robbie Ray start. Robbie Ray comes into that game. Jesus Christ,
hits the first 2.
Hits Soler. Hits, who hits second? Hits Riley. Strikes out Ozuna. Walks Olson. Walks Arcia. 1-0. Michael Harris.
First at bat back. Grand slam into the water. I mean, awful. You have one job is to throw meaningful pitches at the highest level of baseball you can play. And you're out there throwing like a little leaguer. Everything is just not even close. You're throwing at guys. You're walking guys in.
You're grunting like he's in the
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
Throwing it down the middle at 93. to a guy that hits the crap out of the baseball and, of course, sends it 420 feet into the bay. I mean, that was just awful. Awful from Ray. Goes .2 innings, gets chased. I mean, everything in this game just went horrible. Everyone in the bullpen had a bad game besides Jelly. Jelly went 3.1, 1 earned on one hit, 1 home run. It's going to happen every once in a while. Everyone else really did not pitch all that great. I mean, everything just went wrong. I mean, yeah, just terrible.
Yeah, I think it was
terrible game.
I've said it a couple times in this podcast, whenever you think this team's hit rock bottom, they find a way to go deeper. So I initially thought rock bottom was losing 3 straight one-run games because you can't hit with runners in scoring position. And I see Michael Harris, who it was a pretty well-known thing that he was going to be out for the season, hit a grand slam in his first game back. But I will say, they did it the next night. Rock bottom is seeing Mike Yastrzemski pitch. Mike Yastrzemski pitched this game at the end of the game. I mean, just honestly a waste of time and money. I feel bad that our parents spent that much time and money to get us to that game. It's embarrassing, man. And so guys like Farhan will talk in the off season about, yeah, we can't really get big hitters, can't get Harper.
You can do that.
Yeah, well, yeah, can't
Padres
get Soto.
did it when they were 40 games negative, and then the next year all of a sudden they're a playoff team. They did it just fine.
Yeah, no, so you're allowed to get big hitters, but his excuse, guarantee it, when Juan Soto signs with the Mets or whoever, will be, it's our pitcher's park, can't really sign people. I think the pitcher's park only applies to us. The Braves just teed off 4 home runs. It's a pitcher's park, but you can still hit home runs.
Wind blows out sometimes. I mean,
you're still allowed to hit some home runs.
I've seen some guys hit the ball over 450 feet there. I mean, it's not like it's impossible to hit bombs.
Oh,
Bonds didn't have trouble there, so I mean.
Bonds didn't have trouble. Judge doesn't have trouble there. We've just seen really opposing teams just hit nukes off of us. And going back to your Padres point, the Padres have a lot of big players. Missed the playoffs last year. They're not one of the best teams in baseball this year. If you had to guess one variable that's missing on this year's Padres team, who is it?
Fernando Tatis.
Bob Melvin.
Bob
Melvin gets fired. They have a career year.
Yeah, okay, that is very true.
So, I'm not saying it's causation equals correlation or whatever it is. But Melvin, hard to defend that one.
He's worse than Kapler.
I can agree with that, especially with what Stephen Vogt's doing with the Guardians. Stephen Vogt wasn't even offered our job. Unfortunate. We'll see what they do the rest of the year. Roll into Game 4. Try to avoid the sweep, right? I thought we could take 3 out of 4. The Braves just lost the series to the Rockies last week. Webb is our Lord and Savior. He goes 7.2, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts. Should have been a complete game. He got screwed. His one walk was 3-2. He got squeezed easily. Should have gone a complete game. Almost got ejected on the way out. At least a little breath of fresh air. What'd you see here? Offense looked pretty good.
Offense was good. Pitching was great. This is how you play baseball. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to do it every night, but I can't say anything bad about this game. Grant McCray, second game ever. Have a night, kid. I mean, hits his first bomb. Bunt single when we need it. Bunts it. Lays it down. Shocker. Boom. Blows my mind. Fitzgerald, another hit, obviously. I mean, Schmidt had a great game, too. He was very due. Can't complain about that. Still don't think he should be up here, but, I mean, great game from the kid. Casali, nothing new there. 0 for 4, obviously.
Any errors today? No?
No, we didn't have some errors. I mean, Pivens, God knows why he was down, of course. Just shuts him down again, as usual. Just a great game. I mean, after losing 13-2, this is the only way you come back the next game. They took it to heart, and they came back out and battled the next day. That's what we like to see, but losing 3 out of 4 to a team that just got demolished by the Rockies, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, I just can't believe that we have a guy like Spencer Bivens just going up and down Sacramento. He has a 1.9 ERA. He should be borderline our 7th, 8th inning guy now. He should be a high leverage guy the way he's throwing.
Really good.
He threw 10 strikes on 13 pitches. Really good. Forgot to touch on the 13-2 shit show. If you want to know how this offense is doing, Luke Jackson came in and didn't give up a run. So that says enough about them. Giants sit at 3.5 games out of the playoffs. So we're still in it with 38 games to play. We'll get into that. It's our last segment. We're going to flip over to Overreaction off day, the reason everybody's here. It's an off day. We haven't had an off day in, 14 days. It's been a long stretch of baseball. Going back to the Snellzilla no-hitter, I think, was the last off day. Before that, we posted a podcast in between. This is the first actual overreaction off day. I want to start off a little positive. I mean, Tyler Fitzgerald, man, we were begging for it. I can't say either of us saw this coming.
Not this.
No, I mean, Fitz's stats in 61 games, he's hitting .317 with a .998 OPS, 14 home runs. I mean, I think he's a bona fide rookie of the year.
And he steals bags.
So I saw this tweet. I don't know who posted it. I'll tag him. Yeah, I'll tag him below. But in a 650 at-bat pace, which is like average.
That's like this 162 game.
Yeah, 162 game pace. Fitzy would be hitting 305, 363 on base percentage, 609 slug, which would be above just under 1,000 OPS, with 44 home runs, 41 stolen bases, 86 RBIs. Why is he not ahead?
40 leadoff guy with 86 RBIs.
First off, I think that's MVP numbers if you were to get that, but why is he not getting talked about? Why is Jackson Merrill ahead of him in Rookie of the Year?
Merrill is like the golden savior because he's played more games. I mean, Fitz is statistically the better player. He's quicker, hits the ball out of the yard at a better rate than him, hits for more average. Paul Skeens is overrated, got shelled by the Dodgers. I mean, yeah, Fitzgerald's just going to keep crawling his way up because he doesn't seem like he wants to slow down anytime soon with the swings he's been putting on the baseball. I mean, yeah, just only time will be able to tell, and we'll see him creep up.
Yeah, he's got to be ahead of Merrill here pretty soon. Merrill's a really good player, a little younger than Fitz. Their WARs are almost similar in like 80 less games for Fitz. Skeens, enough said about Skeens. Skeens is a great player. He's going to win a Cy Young eventually. Just because his girlfriend's the hottest girl in America doesn't give you the right to a Cy Young. Like, she's really hot, but that does not mean he gets to win a Cy Young. Fitz is a pretty good-looking guy, too.
Caroline's receding a little bit, but he hits the ball far. So
he hits the ball far. That's all that matters. Next overreaction. After the deadline, when Farhan sat on his hands, didn't do anything, he declared this rotation the best rotation in baseball. I will say that you also did say that after seeing it once. I will give you a little bit of leeway because you're not running this team. What do you think of this best rotation in baseball? Is he BSing us, or I mean, this looks bad.
It's more like the best 1-2 punch at this point now.
Yeah,
that's gonna settle in, no doubt about it. But I mean, Birdsong, he's been pretty awful. Ray, I mean, that one terrible start really weighed him down. I mean,
he hasn't been
will
that
he bounce back? I'm sure he will. Will Birdsong bounce back? Probably not. But Harrison has just kind of been around that consistent area of a 4 ERA.
It's okay.
I mean, he's still real young. He's got a lot of time to tell. I mean, I'd like it if he threw hard again, but you know, it's way too hard. That's too much to ask for. The only guy that wants to throw hard again is Hicks, so we'll get into that too. But yeah, we'll talk about that 1-2 punch.
Yeah, no, so it's not a bad rotation. I'm not dissing the rotation. I think it's definitely a top 10 rotation when you have Webb and Snell at the top. And, you know, a couple podcasts ago, Jake agreed that it was best rotation in baseball, and at that point, he had every right to believe it. I kind of said I wanted to see it a couple times through. We agreed to disagree there, but, I mean, he's not running the team. For Farhan to just lie out of his teeth to us and say this is the best rotation in baseball, to see, like, Birdsong has a 5.4 ERA, Ray has a 6 ERA. Harrison, like, you can deal with Harrison at 4.14. That's decent supporting cast to the two best pitchers in the league, in my opinion. But it is not a good enough rotation to deal with this putrid offense. So something's got to change. I think Ray can turn it around. I think they all have the potential to be the best rotation in baseball. But I don't even think even that all-star rotation could save this offense right now.
No, I mean, the offense, it's so deep in a strikeout problem that there's just no coming out of it. You just got to hope that they get some sort of bailout factor on the defensive mistakes, because they're not going to hit with runners in scoring position. They'll hit the long ball when it doesn't matter sometimes. Might lead off an inning with a bomb and then do nothing else for the rest of it. Just completely lose all momentum. But, yeah, I mean, if the offense doesn't want to start hitting in scoring position, you can call it wraps now, because there's not really much that this rotation could save, even if it's at its full potential with how the offense has been.
Yeah, and I can't remember the last time that we had, like, this bad of an offense, man. Like, we were just losing games on basic baseball mistakes. And so going to the best 1-2 punch in baseball, I don't think it's arguable right now, and that's why it'll get me and other Giants fans a little fired up, because you get these 1-2 guys in the playoffs. Not many people want to see that in a 3-game series.
No. wild card, it's over.
Yeah, no, Webb in in his last 4 starts, 29 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts, 0.61 ERA. He's 4th in the NL in ERA, leading the entire league in innings pitched. Snell in his last 7 starts has been almost better than Webb. Not quite. That's what's insane. Snell is, I think, the best pitcher in the world right now. 14 hits in his last
7 starts. That's 2 hits a game.
Yeah,
while going at least 6 innings in almost every single one.
He's 2-0 with a 0.99 ERA, 44 innings pitched, 14 hits, 60 strikeouts. And to think that maybe his ace partner, Webb, is throwing better than him is just unfathomable. I mean, it's a joke that these guys aren't getting picked up.
It's a complete joke. I don't even have anything to say. We've already, gone so deep into this offense and how abysmal it is. There's really not much to say. It's just, hey, pick up your pitchers when they're pitching like Jesus, okay?
In those 7 starts, so it's a 7-start Blake Snell thing, 2 wins in those 7 starts of sub-1 ERA. I mean, he's, as you said, he's doing charity work out here. He's just volunteering his time out there. It's incredible. Another good positive overreaction. Jordan Hicks got his head out of his ass. He decided to become...
Ended an inning with a 100-mile-an-hour sinker.
Incredible.
Look who's back. That got everybody fired up. It got you fired up.
Got me out of my seat.
The hitter was stumped completely like, oh, what's going on here? 100-mile-an-hour.
With Webb movement.
14 inches of horizontal movement. That's the Hicks that I know. So let's hope that he stays that way. And, you throw like that more, you'll have yourself a closer role, my friend. I promise you that. If you can throw it like that.
And who's been advocating for Hicks to throw over 100 this year?
We have been.
It's okay to be wild and throw 100. It's totally okay. I can deal with some of those big misses when you throw 100. So it's pretty ridiculous. I know you're in your Patrick Bailey jersey right now. I don't even have stats behind me right now. I think we need to just open a dialogue.
He's been almost below 100 in his past 30 games. It's been something bad. This past series, he has been hitting the ball. He's been seeing it a little bit better. He's been getting unlucky with the bounces or the catches or the plays that the defense has been making. But he has been hitting the ball hard lately in this Braves series. I think he's going to bounce out of it real soon here. Won't be getting back anywhere near where he was earlier because he just dug himself in such a deep ditch. But, I don't really feel like I have to worry about him. He's the best defensive catcher we've ever seen. The dude's insane. His pop time is sub 1.8.
It's
the best framing in the league. Regardless of his offense, his defense will always make up for it. But we do want that elite catcher that Bailey is when he can bring his offense.
His offense doesn't even need to be good, man. He's like Chapman. The defense is so good you can deal with 250. Problem is his last 30 games he's hitting 168, last 15 093. So we just need a little bit better than that because the defense, as you said, is the best in the game. It's not even arguable. I know the notorious TIG will argue that.
Jose.
He has Jose Trevino back there, so I don't really want to hear anything about that. So that kind of wraps up Overreaction off day. Tried to keep it PG today just because my confidence is just weird. I'm not even angry with this team. I'm just worn down. I'm worn down from watching this team every day. I don't know about you.
It's hard.
It's hard to...
If the offense shows up, it'll be great.
Offense just needs to do half. The offense needs to be 18th in the league, and this is an easy playoff game. Speaking of the playoffs, we're on in the next segment. What needs to happen for this team to make the playoffs, Jake? We're sitting at 3.5 games out of a playoff spot. Got to finish off August strong. Looking ahead to the series, do you think it's a reasonable thing for this team to make the playoffs?
I think we can. The Braves, they haven't been looking all that good. They snuck 2 games from us that we definitely should have taken, and they had one absolute bombshell. I think that they could easily start dropping down. Not too worried about the Mets either. It's really just the Mets and Braves that are the only teams I really feel like we have to worry about right now. Cardinals are on a big losing streak. Cincinnati's on a big winning streak, but there's just not a chance they maintain that. We really just got to go out here and dominate for the rest of the season if we want a good chance to play in the playoffs. So I think it's possible, but I definitely don't think it's an above 50% chance. I'll say that right now.
No, it's 20%. But you see stuff from Snell and Webb, and you get confident. So, yeah, we're 3.5 back. The Mets are 2 back. The Braves have the Angels tonight for 3 games. Then they have the Phillies for 3, Nationals for 3, Twins for 3, Phillies for 4. Our schedule's easier in that stretch, so maybe we can claw back. Just looking at it objectively, I mean, you can look and scoreboard watch every night all you want and get confident about the Giants, but when you actually look at it like this, it's going to be difficult. We have 38 games left to play. I think to get into the playoffs, it's probably 87-75. Could be a little less. I think it's probably 86, but there's a good chance the Braves will be at 86, and we completely effed ourselves because now we don't have the tiebreaker over them with that series. If we split, we got the tiebreaker. So to get to 87 wins, it's 12 games above 500. We got to go 25-13 the rest of the way. I think we can do it too. That's 12 games above, but I'm going to read you this schedule. We got the A's for 2. We got the White Sox for 3. The Mariners are above 500 for 3. The Brewers, who are above 500 for 3. The Marlins suck. 3. The D-backs, who are, I think they got touched by Jesus after the All-Star break for 3. The Drays for 3 will be at 2 of those 3 games. Brewers for 3, Drays for 3, Orioles for 3, Royals for 3, Cardinals for 3, Diamondbacks for 3. So we're going to have our chances to make up ground on these teams, but we just got to go out and do it. I mean, we've been saying they got to go out and do it. We're not doing it. I think we can do it. 38 games left to play. They've given me no reason to think that, though. Do you actually...
I mean, they really did have a great road trip, and I mean, it was against not great teams, but they proved that they can beat bad teams, and that's kind of what you got to do. So it's definitely in there. You just got to bring it out of them. That's the only thing that needs to happen. They need a 100 pep talk in the dugout, and that's all they need, man. And then they're right there. They're right there.
Yeah, it just takes one 8 out of 10 again, because then that's 6 above that gets you there. Finishing up this homestand, we got the A's for 2 in Oakland, White Sox for 3. I mean, White Sox are a joke. A's suck pretty bad. Do you think we got to go 4-1?
I think we go 5-0.
Yeah,
we got to go 5-0. These teams are terrible. I could see the A's just taking one by one run at most, honestly. But the White Sox, there's just not a chance you lose.
Hope not. Not. We're not the Yanks.
No. Not the Yanks.
But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good test tomorrow. Throw in Birdsong against the A's. Could be a good game. We sneak out of that one. Snell's not losing to the A's, I'll tell you that much. So we should be able to take both of those.
Might set an even higher career night.
Yeah. I actually might want to go to that game. But yeah, no, feel like this whole thing comes down to Birdsong tomorrow. Just kind of a scary thought, the way Birdsong's throwing. We win with Birdsong. I think we take both against the A's, and the White Sox aren't even at the 30-win mark yet. So really no excuse to not sweep them. Webb, Ray, Harrison should be projected there. It's possible to go 5-0, I'll say right now.
That's the ideal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Set it high.
Yeah, no, and 5-0 would kind of change a lot. We'd get back to 5 games above 500. This team's bipolar. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do that. And then, so we should be able to finish August pretty strong. Only time will tell. We appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode. Please share it with 3 or 4 buddies. Make sure they all subscribe. We want to get to 100 subscribers. Thank you for tuning in to another Overreaction Off Day. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jake.
Thank you for tuning in.